good? Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education meeting. It's the public budget hearing happening today, Monday, May 6, 2024. Tonight, the board met in executive session at approximately 6:30 p.m. in room 105 at James Caldwell High School, 265 Westville Avenue. The purpose of that meeting was to discuss personnel, litigation, miscellaneous, and old business matters. The meeting had been advertised and is in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act and NJSA 10:4-6, also known as the Sunshine Law. The matters discussed will be made public when confidentiality is no longer required, and formal action pursuant to said discussion shall take place only at a meeting to which the public has been invited. Tonight, the public budget hearing is being live streamed here from the James Caldwell High School cafeteria. The Board of Education will welcome all community questions and comments concerning the public budget hearing here in person at James Caldwell High School cafeteria. The Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education public budget hearing portion of this meeting is now happening at 7:07 p.m. This meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act and NJSA 10:4-6, also known as the Sunshine Law. Notices have been sent to the Progress in Caldwell, New Jersey, the Star Ledger in Newark, New Jersey, and Tap into West Essex. Notices have also been posted at the Board of Education Business Office in the Harrison School Building, 104 Gray Street in West Caldwell, and have been delivered to the clerks of the Borough of Caldwell and Township of West Caldwell for posting. Brian, can you please take the roll?
Yes. Student Representative Madeline Alberta. Ms. DiMartini.
Here.
Ms. Lindalfi Jefferson.
Here.
Ms. Mack.
Here.
Mr. Diambolo.
Here.
Ms. Grosso.
Here.
So we have 5 voting members present. We have a quorum.
Great. Can we just rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Brian, are there any communications for the board?
There were none.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll go to the superintendent's report.
I just want to wish all the teachers a great week for this week, Teacher Appreciation. I sent everyone at staff to email this morning and wish them well, and made a reference to Mr. John Bon Jovi, so I hope everyone appreciates that.
Great. Okay, President's report. I'm going to hand it over to Brian to do the public budget hearing, but also on behalf of the Board of Education, we want to wish our teachers a wonderful Teacher Appreciation Week. It's kind of sad that we have to designate just a week for them. We appreciate our teachers here in the Caldwell-West Caldwell School District every single day. Our children spend more time with them in a day between September and June than they do with us. They are invaluable to us. We love and appreciate them wholeheartedly. So I hope that they are spoiled rotten this week by their students and by their families of their schools and at home. Also would like to encourage everyone that next week is the GCMS production of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. Tickets went on sale last Friday. They're $7 a ticket. The performances are next Friday evening, May 17th at 6 p.m., Saturday, May 18th at 1, and Sunday, May 19th at 1. The kids are working so hard. It's going to be adorable, and you can be in the comfort of the brand new renovated GCMS auditorium, which if you haven't seen, it looks absolutely beautiful. So please go out and support our kids. It's going to be worth it. And that being said, it looks like Brian's going to get started with our budget hearing, so we'll move, I guess we could just turn.
Well, thank you. I'm Brian McCarthy. I'm the school business administrator and the board secretary, and I'm going to take about 15 minutes tonight to present the 2024-2025 fiscal year 25 FY25 school budget. And I keep a similar format every year, so some of you may have seen something like this in the past. I always start off my budget presentations by explaining what exactly a budget is, and it's nothing other than a plan of the district's spending and their revenue for the upcoming fiscal year. And just so you know how it works in our district and many other districts, this process actually started in October. And we have every different department and head will give me detailed budget information, and these requests will roll up into our budget numbers, and we have a zero-based budget. So this is why sometimes you'll see changes in different programs year over year, because it's really based on what our forecasted needs are for that year. And again, it's our best. It's a living document. We try to adhere to the document, but it's our best plan for the upcoming year. I wanted to preface the budget presentation by talking about some of the challenges that are facing not only Caldwell-West Caldwell, but other New Jersey public school districts. And I will tell you that, you know, fortunately, we're in really good shape. We do a lot of forward planning. What I'm going to tell you about is not something that's new to us. So districts are under, since 2011, the statute is that we can only raise revenue by 2% without going out to a special vote with the public. And so that's something that we have to live with. This year we're actually under the cap. We're able to go 1.8%. But that much said, on the expense part of our budget, we're going up 3% on salaries and other costs. We are going up health benefits. The last 2 years, we had a 16% rise in health benefits and a 10% rise in the health benefits for this year. And so for many districts, you've heard this, obviously, when you hear the math of this, it's not sustainable. So in the federal government, they often talk about the fiscal cliff, and I say, you know, well, what does that really mean? I guess it's not really good if you go off a cliff. Usually you don't do very well. For us, the federal government can borrow money. So that's how they live, with spending more than they actually take in. As a school district, we can't borrow, so we have to live within our means. Good thing. So we have to balance our budget. So we're look with the eye of what is coming forward. We've planned accordingly. So what we've been able to do this year to get to our 1.8% tax levy increase, we've streamlined. And I say, what's the streamline you mean? It means cost containment. So we've looked at various programs across our budget, and we've reduced things where we could. So one of the things that we did was we brought some of our teachers that were acting as instructional coaches back into the classrooms. We didn't actually, it's a 4.2% reduction in full-time equivalent salaries. There will be no layoffs in the districts because we're able to, through retirements, and we were able to move the teachers back into the classrooms, and again, no reduction in force. We lessened this, or we're going to stop spending on the Smart Academy, and the Smart Academy was a program that was initiated really out of a couple years ago, mostly with federal money, and we started spending some local funds. So we're gonna pull back the Smart spending. We are reducing slightly our supply budgets, a decrease in our required maintenance of facilities, our technology budgets. We've done a very good job in the last couple of years with our one-to-one initiative. So we're largely supplied with Chromebooks and laptops. We're still had some of that in the budget, but not to the same extent we had the last couple of years. And we're also looking to improve the costs in our technology initiative. These numbers are kind of small, but I think you can see them if you look. This is like a 6-year look, or at least a comparison. So although we've slightly reduced some spending, we still have a robust, if you look at spending in instruction, regular instruction, we're still about $2 million higher than we were 6 years ago. In the instruction for regular instruction for supplies, we're still around $600,000. We were much higher the last couple of years. You saw like $700,000 and $900,000 numbers. And again, I'll go back and saying a lot of our computers, they're supplies. So that's all our one-to-one initiative would have been in those lines. We have our textbooks are still, about the same that we've had the last couple years. You'll know we have more digital textbooks than we actually have paper textbooks, but that is still, robust spending on textbooks. Improve instruction. We still are spending a large amount of money to improve, the test scores in the district, and we still have a large effort and team in place for that endeavor. Staff training. If you'll notice where we're back to, say, to fiscal 20 and fiscal 21 levels, or even 22. So we had a large jump in the last 2 years, and much of this was money that was COVID related. In addition, I put a footnote on the bottom here. What happened is we had so much of this ESSER money, which is basically the COVID money, that we're able to spend some of those funds in areas that we would have done out of local funds that we could to help bolster some of our curriculum spending, all right? Again, these are small, but I'll explain this. If you look on the left side, this is our operating budget. Our total operating budget is $56,600,539. On the left side, where you see the green, that's our revenue. Our revenue mainly comes from the tax levy. So of our $56 million, $51,984 come from the tax levy, which is from West Caldwell and Caldwell. We receive about $3.6 million in state aid. We're up $334,000 from last year, and this was I was pleased to get this money. I will tell you that the last 6 years we were the beneficiaries of the State Funding Reform Act. So there was a big realignment of state aid. We were fortunate that we were on the plus side, because you had other districts in New Jersey that were losing aid over the last 6 years on the same proportion. I don't expect going forward we're going to have additional state aid. It will be really tied to our enrollment. As I told the board, if we have a large increase, we'll get money for new students, and if we lose students, we'll probably have our aid will be decreased. We have bank interest is slightly higher because rates are now 5% as opposed to 0, and so our total operating budget is $56,600,000. Our expenses on the right side, and again, this is just a quick summary of our expenses. We have approximately $33 million in salaries. We have $10,787,000 in employee benefits. If you'll notice, we are up 11.6% in health benefits last year. I said 10%, is actually 11.6 the number. And between our $56 million, if you just do a quick add there, 33, so about $44 million of our $56 million operating budget is salaries and health benefits. So it's a large portion of where we spend. The other two funds that round out our budget are, it's called Fund 20, which is special revenue. The district regularly applies and receives federal grants. IDA is one of the grants. It stands for the Individual Disabilities Education Act, and we're budgeting $541,000 for this year, and this money is directly subsidizes our out-of-district tuition. We also receive Title I grants. They used to be called No Child Left Behind, and this is federal money that's targeted or given to schools that helps promote after-school tutoring and education-related services to support those types of supports. Finally, down here you'll notice that our ARP ESSER last year, this was our last tranche of the COVID-related funds, and we have $80,000 left that we have to spend by September 30th, and then that'll be the last of the 3 different programs for the COVID funds. That was called the American Rescue Plan. That's what the ARP acronym stands for. The final fund here on the bottom is our debt service. So this is a fund they call Fund 40. This is a special fund here. We allocate where we pay our debt service. So these are some of we talked about the referendum. We have some debt rolling off next year we hope to replace. That's in Fund 40. That's our debt service fund. This slide here is a comparison of all the different programs. Again, if you take that 56,600,000 and you slice it to all the different programs, from regular program instruction, special education, co-curricular, all the different programs, here's the difference we have between last year's budget and this year's budget. And they may be too small to see all those things here, but I will look on the bottom right corner in the green. You'll notice that our salaries are 59% of our budget, and then our employee benefits are 20%. So again, about 79% of our budget, I gave you the numbers before, are salaries and employee benefits. This is just a slide where I made a note of the different programs, and I told you before it's a zero-based budget. So we're going to see differences based on need. In this case here, what I did was at the bottom, I said they're all expenses, so I put in red means we're spending more, and green is not revenue, but we're spending less than last year. So special education, we're spending about 111,000 more. That's literally the difference in the projected salary increases. Regular programs, we're down slightly because we're up on the salary increases that are built into the budget, but we also have 4.2 less FTE. Tuition, we're up 100,000, and this is just basically increased in the forecasted tuition. Tuition, unfortunately, is another one of those budget items that often goes up, goes much higher than the 2%. Sometimes it goes as high as 10%, and we have to absorb that cost, and sometimes we don't have a lot of say because the state allows the private schools a certain amount of increase every year. Staff training is down 284,000. I told you about that before. In operation and maintenance, it says we're down 846,000. Last year, we had a lot of excess surplus. So if you remember last year, I told you we were doing a lot of projects or one-offs around the district, which we continue to complete, and that's why you have a large difference in the operations and maintenance budget. If you look at the employee benefits and health insurance, we're up 850,000, 847,000 compared to last year. Equipment is reduction in data center technology, things that we use to support and to build out our infrastructure in our technology efforts. Again, and the capital outlay, we had a parking lot we hoped to do, or we planned last year to do over at Wilson, and we decided to reallocate the money to a different place in the district. So that's what this slide is here. So everything pretty much over 100,000. These are some of the things that we accomplished this year. We substantially upgraded the cameras and the door access systems in the district. So right now we have card readers and badges accessed at every door. We have cameras that now are operable within the district. So that's been completed. We did a refresh for the Grover Cleveland Auditorium. So I don't know if you've been there, but it looks a lot better than it had been 2 years ago. We're not quite done. We still are going to finish the technology piece of that, and that's going to come out of our maintenance reserve. It was something we budgeted last year, but it takes time. We still don't have those plans. We're hoping to get that maybe out to bid this summer. We have almost, if you've been in the back here, we're almost done with the tennis courts. They finished the paving it. The fence should go up quickly, and they should be putting the top coat on. Hopefully it's done by June 1st. Harrison renovation. If you've seen Harrison, there was a lot of stuff going on in the district. So we are largely complete with the renovation. If you've driven by there, you'll notice that there's a new vestibule that's going up. We're going to have heat and air conditioning in the gym when it's done. We've finished the administrative offices. We have 6 new classrooms that are done. And just again to note, this renovation was largely financed from $1 million from the Arbesser grant that comes off. In addition to those things at facilities, we had a number of purchases in FY24 for Chromebooks and Promethean boards. And we continue to require, we will continue, this is for this coming year. So we still, despite the fact that we have brought back some of the expenditures for facilities, we still are spending above average for the required maintenance of our facilities. And for the masonry, for instance, at Grover Cleveland and Lincoln, these are projects that we're hoping to include as part of our referendum. Our budget continues to support the arts. So we have, nothing has changed from the levels of spending for Grover Cleveland High School for the spring and fall productions. And again, we are making sure that we always have enough devices that work for our one-to-one initiative. Tax impact is what people care about. If you look at the difference between FY24, fiscal year 24, and our new one, which is FY25, these numbers on the left are just small, but the total tax increase is 1.8%. And then if you look below that, our debt service, the debt is actually, our payments are slightly less than last year, so that's increased by 1.61%. These are the net taxable valuations. So between Caldwell, you see last year to this year, we're up slightly. It's $1.05 billion from $1.044 billion. West Caldwell, we're $2.3 billion, and we're about $2.35 billion for West Caldwell, slightly higher than last year. These are the tax rates. So for Caldwell, we are up 3.28%, so 3.2 cents for the Caldwell tax rate, school tax rate, and for West Caldwell, we're up 1.88%, 1.9%. And for the average taxpayer, this is what it means. So for Caldwell, for the average assessment per 100 is $32. So you have if your house is assessed at $500,000, you're going to be up about $150 in taxes for school taxes. For West Caldwell, if you're assessed at $500,000, you're going to be up slightly under $100. Excuse me, $100. So 18.8 per 100,000. As of tomorrow, I did get it on today, the user-friendly budget should be on our website. All right. We are, I've already put it in there, but Carrie is out today, so I'll probably put it on the website myself tomorrow if it's not there. And we thank you, okay?
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Brian. Does the board have any questions on the budget for Brian at this time? Nope. So Brian, the only thing I'm going to ask you, Brian, if you could just quickly just share with our group here and anyone who's watching from home, just a little bit about our relationship with shared services and the services that we share with the towns to be conservative with other costs around the district.
Sure. So we actively, we meet a couple times a year, and part of our meeting is to make sure that we are talking about things that we can do to offset expenses between the towns. So we work with the DPW, and we share salt, we share landscaping. We're looking to go out to bid with them for garbage removal the next time their contract comes up, which is January, so we have it on a calendar, make sure we'll be part of that. We share with the town some of our security. So it's an informal where the police are here. So we don't, as you know, we don't have a school's resource officer or security on staff, but we have informal arrangement with the police to make sure that they're patrolling our facilities. At the same time, we also work with West Caldwell Recreation, so they get to use our facilities, they get to use our fields, and so we do things that we can to make sure that things that we would spend otherwise we can share with the community. So it's an ongoing effort, and part of our discussions each time we meet are what things can we do in addition to help each other.
Thanks, Brian.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to open up public comments on the budget presentation only. Public participation shall be governed by the following. The participant must be recognized by the presiding officer and must preface comments by an announcement of their name and address. Statements are to be limited to 3 minutes duration and may only address the item on the agenda, which tonight is the budget. A participant may speak no more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard, and all statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. Boards use the public comment period of the meeting as an opportunity to listen to citizen concerns, but not to debate issues or enter into a question and answer or cross-examination between the public and individual members. Be aware that not all issues brought before the board this evening will be resolved. Boards may respond to public comment by seeking additional information or by delegating the authority to investigate the issue to the superintendent or his designee. The presiding officer may interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's comments if they exceed the allotted time or are objectively obscene. Participants may be civilly liable for any obscene, defamatory, or slanderous statements made during public comment. So does anyone want to get up and ask any questions about the budget? Oh, good.
No, okay, good.
That's great.
Oh,
That's
good.
good. That's great. Thanks, Liz. You're okay? Okay, good.
Okay, good.
Okay. So I just want to, before we take a roll call on the budget, I just want to, on behalf of the board, Brian, to say thank you.
Thank you.
You're a wonderful board secretary, a wonderful BA.
Thank you.
You've been so wonderful. I hope that the public feels that the budget process, since this board has been together, has been much more transparent. Brian's been a large partner in that, in ensuring that you guys have access to it. It's your tax dollars. You have the right to see it, ask questions on it, and to the both of you, thank you for being here and for asking those questions, because it holds us all accountable, which is really important for our district. I also want to say that I'm just really very proud of the board. It's very difficult. Like, one of the biggest things we do is pass the tax levy, and it's such a difficult decision because we're trying to balance like being fiscally responsible to the taxpayers of both townships, as well as trying to move the district forward. And being capped at the 2% is difficult for us sometimes. Last year we took our bank cap. This year we tried to be merciful to the taxpayer, come a little bit under the 2% and be able to sustain the things we're doing. I think that if anybody Googles or is paying attention to the districts around the state, particularly scary enough in our own county, there are many that are laying off teachers. There are many that are going under the scope of a state monitor. We never want to be a district that has either of those things happening. So we just appreciate everyone's patience with us. You're coming to the meetings, asking questions. We're trying to be as transparent as we can be. And trying to make the best decisions. The one thing we always stand by together, the five of us, is to say nothing taken away from children, right? Programs, opportunities for children, that's where we're focused. If we can slim down in other areas so that the children are not affected, that's what we're gonna do, and get more creative with the resources that we have in district instead of pulling from the outside, just trying to reutilize what's going on inside. Okay, so that's just my 2 cents. Anyone else have any comments or anything? Okay, so then we're gonna move to the vote.
Yep. So I'll read the adoption of the 24-25 budget. Resolved that the Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education in the County of Essex adopts the 2024-2025 school district budget. This budget meets the requirements for providing the New Jersey Student Learning Standards and consists of the appropriations listed below. Taxing authority. Whereas the district has taxing authority of 1.8% over the prior year, which totals $919,180. Therefore, be it resolved that the Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education proposed 2024-2025 tax levy is $51,984,762, which is a 1.8% rise over the prior year. Travel and related expense reimbursement 24-25. Whereas School District Policy 6471, School District Travel, and NJAC 6A:23A-7.3 provides that the Board of Education shall establish in the annual school budget a maximum expenditure amount that may be allotted for such travel and expense reimbursement for the 24-25 school year. And whereas the maximum expenditure amount allotted for travel and expense reimbursement for the 23-24 school year was $40,000. Now therefore be it resolved that the Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education hereby establishes the school district travel maximum for the 2024-2025 school year not to exceed $40,000. This resolution to take effect immediately.
Okay, and may I have a second?
I will second it.
Okay, Brian, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Ms. DeMartini,
Yes.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson,
Yes.
Ms. Mack,
Yes.
Mr. Diambola,
Yes.
Ms. Grosso,
Yes.
5-0, motion carried.
Great, and that being said, since this was just a public budget hearing, I'd like to make a motion for the board to exit the public budget hearing and enter back into executive session at approximately 7:36 p.m.
I'll make a motion.
And can I have a second?
A second.
And Brian, if you would
All in
mind.
favor, aye?
Aye.
All against, nay? Any abstentions? Motion carried.
Okay, great. Our next meeting is, we're gonna be at Wilson School, the traveling troupe. And I believe we are at, it's the 20th and the 28th.
Yep.
So 20th is a Monday, 28th is the Tuesday, because we're closed on Monday for Memorial Day. So happy Mother's Day, Liz. Everyone come see Charlie Brown, and we'll see everybody on the 20th. Okay?